So, good afternoon, students. Myself, Dr. Vishwas Grover, and so we were studying the radiographic methods for the non-destructive testings. Okay, and in the continuation of that, we were discussing like the differences between X-rays and gamma rays. Okay, differences between X-rays and gamma rays. One definition is that the term gamma ray is used for photon from naturally occurring sources, and X-ray is used for photons from man-made machines. Okay, and another definition is that the gammas are from radioactive atomic nuclei and X-rays are from electron excitation acceleration. Okay, a third definition often used in astronomy where the origin may not be known is that higher energies, that is in the MeV, are called the gamma rays and lower energies in keV are called the X-rays. Okay, and gamma rays are similar to X-rays except that they are emitted by the nucleus of the atom. Okay, and the gamma rays consist of discrete wavelengths much shorter than that of the X-rays, much shorter than that of the X-rays. Then the radioactive series. Now we will discuss about the radioactive series. Radioactive elements are divided into two parts, that is the this naturally occurring radioactive, elements, and artificially produced radioactive isotopes, that is elements having the same order number but a different mass number are called the isotopes. Okay, then naturally occurring radioactive elements decay by alpha and beta emission. Okay, then radioactive isotopes formed by a sequence of transformations constitute a radioactive series. Okay, and a natural radioactive series starts with a long lived element and ends with a stable isotope. There are three such groups, that is the thorium series. Thorium series is like starting with thorium 23290 and ending with the Pb 20882. Okay, and the next is the uranium series. Uranium series is like starting with uranium 23892 and ending with Pb 206 to 82. Okay, then next is the actinium series, which starting with the uranium 23592 and ending with the Pb 20782. So this was the three series, that is the thorium series, uranium series and actinium series. Okay, and bombarding materials with electrons, protons and neutrons produce the artificial radioactive isotopes. Currently artificial radioactive isotopes are produced by exposing materials contained in aluminum cylinders to a neutron flux in a channel in an atomic reactor core. The nucleus of the substance captures some of the neutrons and is transformed into a radioactive substance. Okay, and is transformed into a radioactive substance. So this is the chart for that. This is the neutron number. Okay, and this is the neutron number. This is like the thorium series. Okay, this is the thorium series. This is thorium to Ra to Ac, the thorium 191 years, and this is the decaying, and these are the mass numbers. That is the 232 mass number, then to radium 228 to 224 it gets decreasing, and on the PV scale this goes on decreasing. Okay. So now what we were discussing is the radioactive decay. What is the radioactive decay? After some times this radioactive materials get on decaying. Okay, and these get decayed over a period of time after some certain years, that is called as the radioactive decay. So statistical studies have shown that the radioactive disintegration occurring per unit time is proportional to the total number of radioactive atoms present. Okay, is proportional to the total number of radioactive atoms present. Mathematically it is represented by minus dN by dt is equal to gamma n, lambda n, sorry, where lambda is the constant of proportionality, okay, n is the number of radioactive atoms present, n is the number of radioactive atoms present, and negative sign indicates the decrease in the number with time. Negative sign indicates the decrease in number with time, okay. And if initially the number of atoms is n0 at t is equal to 0, then expression 1 can be expressed as n is equal to n0 e raised to power lambda n. So this is just the if the number of atoms n0 at t is equal to 0, then expression 1 can be expressed as n is equal to 0 at n0 e raised to power minus lambda t. Next is the radioactive decay. Radioactive decay is this is the basic law of radioactivity transformation. The constant of proportionality lambda is called as the radioactive decay constant, okay. The quantity dN by dt called the radioactivity. The quantity dN by dt called the radioactivity decreases exponentially. It is seen from the equation 2 that the time taken by any radioactive substance to decay completely, that is n0 is infinite, okay. Substance to decay completely, that is n0 is infinite. This information is of no significance, okay. This information is of no significance. And then for this reason we consider the half life, okay. Half life t, which is defined as the time required for half the atoms initially present to undergo the transformation, okay. So thus the after half life we have n by 2 is equal to n e raised to power minus lambda t, or 2 is equal to e raised to power lambda t, okay. Therefore t is equal to 0.693 over lambda. 1 over lambda is called the mean life of a radioactive atom, okay. 1 by lambda is called the mean life of a radioactive atom. Then half life t is equal to 0.693 into mean life, okay. Half life t is equal to 0.693 cross mean life. From the viewpoint of industrial radiography, half life is a convenient measure of the useful period for which a radioactive isotope can be used economically, okay. This is a convenient measure of the useful period for which a radioactive isotope can be used economically. So this is from the industrial radioactivity. Next are the properties of the X and the gamma rays. X and the gamma rays are invisible, pass through space without transfer of matter, okay. Properties of gamma and X rays are invisible, pass through space without transference of matter, not affected by electrical and magnetic field, okay. It is not affected by the electrical and magnetic fields. Then propagate in a straight line. It propagate in a straight line and also exhibit wave properties and are reflected, refracted, diffracted and polarized, okay. Then transfers electromagnetic waves. These are the properties for the X and gamma rays. It transfers, these transfers in the electromagnetic waves. These transfers in the electromagnetic waves, and these are capable of ionizing gases and changing the electrical properties of liquids and the solids, and these are capable of blacking photographic films, okay. And these also produce the fluorescent and phosphorescence in substances, okay, and damage or kill the living cells or produce the genetic mutation, okay. Damage or kill the living cells and produce the genetic mutation, and these liberate the photoelectrons, recoil electrons, electron positron pair and act photochemically, and these are differentially absorbed by the matter, okay. And these produce the characteristic spectra of chemical elements. These produce the characteristic spectra of chemical elements. And then next is the interaction of X and gamma rays with matter. Interaction of X and gamma rays with matter, that is the attenuation. that is the penetrating radiation like X-rays or gamma rays passing through a material medium interact with matter in a complex manner. Okay, and the effect of the interaction is attenuation of incident radiation. Then attenuation takes place in two ways, that is the absorption and scattering. Okay, attenuation takes place in two ways, that is the absorption and scattering. When X-rays or the gamma rays are directed into an object, when the X-rays or gamma rays are directed into an object, some of the photons interact with the particles of the matter and their energy can be absorbed or scattered. Okay, their energy can be absorbed or scattered. The absorption and scattering is called as the attenuation. The absorption and scattering is called as the attenuation. So, when the incident radiation falls over the material medium, it gets separated into this secondary radiation, characteristic radiation, scattered radiation, okay, transmitted radiation, electrons, heat and pair production, electron, heat and pair production. And then electrons are then subdivided into the Compton recoil electrons and the photoelectrons, Compton recoil electrons and the photoelectrons. And this scattered radiations get further modified into the unmodified coherent and the Compton modified, that is the incoherent. Okay. Then the summary of different mechanisms that cause the attenuations is like photoelectric PE. Photoelectric PE absorption of X-rays occurs when the X-ray photon is absorbed, resulting in the ejection of electrons from the outer shell, okay, from the outer shell of the atom, and hence the ionization of the atom, okay, and hence the ionization of the atom. Subsequently, the ionized atom returns to the neutral state with the emission of an X-ray characteristic, okay, with the emission of an X-ray characteristics of the atom. Okay, with the emission of the X-ray characteristics of atom. This subsequent emission of lower energy, photons is generally absorbed and does not contribute to the image making process. Okay, it does not contribute to the image making process. Then photoelectron absorption is the dominant process for X-ray absorption up to energies of about 500 keV. Okay, up to the energies of about 500 keV. Then photoelectrons absorption is also dominant for atoms of high atomic numbers. Okay, this is dominant for the atoms of high atomic numbers. Okay, this is the incident photon and this get radiated out. Okay, then next is the summary of different mechanisms that cause the attenuation is the Compton scattering. This is the Compton scattering. Compton scattering occurs when the incident X-ray photon is deflected from its original path. Okay, when it is deflected from its original path by an interaction with an electron, then the electrons gains energy and is ejected from the orbital position. Okay, it gains energy and is ejected from its orbital position. The X-ray photon loses energy due to the interaction. Okay, the X-ray photon loses energy due to the interaction, but continues to travel through the material along the altered path. Okay, through an altered path. Since the scattering X-ray photon has a less energy. Okay, since the scattering X-ray photon has the less energy, it therefore has a longer wavelength than the incident photon. Okay, it has the longer wavelength than the incident photon. The event is also known as the incoherent scattering. Okay, the event is also known as the incoherent scattering because the photon energy change resulting from an interaction is not always orderly and consistent. Okay, because the photon energy change resulting from an interaction is not always orderly and consistent, and the energy shift depends on the angle of scattering and not on the nature of the scattering medium. This is the incident photon, okay, and which comes out. Okay, then this is the pair production. Pair production can occur when the X-ray photon energy is greater than 1.02 MeV. Okay, but really only becomes significant at energies of around 10 MeV. Okay, at energy around 10 MeV. Then pair production occurs when an electron and the positrons are created with the annihilation, that is the complete destruction of the X-ray photon. Okay, complete destruction of the X-ray photon, and then positrons are very short lived and disappear. Okay, positron are very short lived and disappear. Positron annihilation with the formation of two photons of 0.51 MeV energy, and pair production is of particular importance when the high energy photons pass through materials of a high atomic number. So this is the incident photon, and it goes split up. Next is the Thomson scattering R, also known as the relay coherent or classic scattering, occurs when the X-ray photon interacts with the whole atom. X-ray photon interacts with the whole atom so that the photon is scattered with no change. In internal energy to the scattering atom, or not to the X-ray atom. Then Thomson scattering is never more than a minor contributor to the absorption coefficient. Okay, it is never more than a minor contribution to the absorption coefficient, and the scattering occurs without the loss of energy, and the scattering is mainly in the forward direction. Okay, so we will end up here, and will continue in the next class with the further topics like photo disintegration. We will continue in the next class.